Okay, so welcome to lesson number 2. I thought I'd start this off with a couple of, we went over the parts the other day, or the previous lesson. So there's the headstock, here are the tuners, right? And then the frets going up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12, and then that's the octave, 8 tones, as in oct, Latin. And then the same 8 tones again going up from there. Now, what I want to show you, this is a tuner. If you don't have a chromatic tuner, I cannot recommend one enough. You really have to get one because it takes the guesswork. When I was young, we didn't have these. You had a tuning fork in your guitar case and you had to tune to that. So let me just check something here because I think my E is off, and sure enough it is. There we go, let's check. And then, so depending on the tuner, you're going to see an arrow that'll go up to the middle, it'll turn green, or it has a whole bunch of different things. This particular one is a strobe. And so let me just get this in tune real quick. Whoop, a little too much. And these tuners are 53 years old, so like anything that age, doesn't work as well as it used to. Let's see here. So the strings, by the way, in standard tuning, you have E, A, D as in dog, G, tons of jokes about G strings with guitarists, G, B as in boy, and then E again. So let me just get this, make sure I get this tuned up. A little high. Okay, so once you get it tuned up, E, A, D, G, B, and E. And if in an emergency you don't have a tuner, you can do harmonics, or you can simply fret. Oh, I should probably explain how to fret. So the way you make tones with the guitar, obviously, you hit it at one end, and then here's a C chord. Well, what am I doing? I'm putting my index finger down as close to this first fret as I can on the B string, the second string from the bottom. And then I'm putting my middle finger on the second fret of the D string, and my third finger, my ring finger, on the third fret of the A string. And I'm putting all of them in a position so they're pretty close to the fret wire, okay? That's really important. If they're down here, hear that difference? Okay, so you want to get it pretty close up to the fret wire to get a clean tone. Now, there's 1,000,001 videos on YouTube. A lot of them, do go over how to play the basics and stuff like that. I want to talk a little bit about hand position, and then, maybe we can jump into some chords. Hand position. All right, I talked about this in the last video, and how to hold your fretting hand. Oh, I can't. There we go. All right, and then these single angle cameras, just, you know, just not as good. So you want to have your fingers coming in as close to perpendicular on the fretboard as you can. That's going to give you the best tone. The more they're off, the more you're likely to get buzzes. And playing something hard, I find it all the time. I'll get buzzes. But anyway, that's what you're looking to avoid doing. So that's your left hand. Your right hand, right now I'm holding a pick. I don't generally play with picks. I play finger style, but most people, especially when they're beginning, they start with picks. And you're going to hold it in between your thumb and your index finger, and you want the pick, it's going to be lined up with your index finger, the arrow so to speak, and your thumb is going to be perpendicular to it. And there's a whole, I mean, there's almost a science to holding a pick, and there's a lot of different kinds of picks made. If you hold it back a bit further from the point, it has a little more slap to it because the pick's being flexed. You get up closer, and now there's really very little flex. And so when people are playing hot solos, which I can't do, then they're going to be holding that a lot closer to the tip. But if you're strumming along, then you're probably best off holding it out here. Another thing about picks, they're loud. But they do make the guitar ring out quite a bit. So, we've covered fret position, tuning, and then holding the pick. Again, back here at this end, there's a lot of kind of technique involved. Really, when you're beginning, you tend to have your hand out near the sound hole here. And the closer actually you get to that 12th fret right here, has a more, kind of a more resonant tone, but kind of too resonant at some point. And the closer you get back here to the saddle, you get that. That can be useful at times, but you can't think of any. So, but another thing you can do, and that's called palm muting, and I think maybe I'll that's where you're resting the flesh, what's called the hypothenar eminence. Basically, it's just this fleshy pad under your little finger. Then that muffles the bass string, so it kind of mimics a stand-up bass. You can hear how different that sounds without that muffling. Okay, that's enough for this one.